Olá, boa noite. Hey, Pink Pearl. Welcome to our class. Uh, who's showing up right now? Just say hello, say where you guys are from. We love to know where you guys are from. Then we can make specific materials maybe for you, depending on where you are, depending on your intention, your goal, learning Portuguese. Oi, Charles! Boa noite! Boa noite, gente! Yeah, I have a new hair, cabelo novo. Cortei o cabelo tem 2 semanas. So I had a haircut 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of shorter. Tá mais curto, tá dando pra ver, né, gente? Bem-vindos, bem-vindos todos! So, já dá pra ver aí de onde vocês são, que ótimo! So we can already see where you guys are from. So Pink Pearl said he or she, sorry, is from Louisiana. Que legal! Sul dos Estados Unidos, não é isso? So, Southern US. April Wells just said, oh, I'm from California. Que legal! Bem-vinda! E Charles saying, I'm from Orlando, Florida. So, você é de Orlando? Muito bom, Charles. Muito obrigada, Charles, pelo elogio. Fico feliz. Que elogio. Muito obrigada. So, thank you very much for this compliment, this nice compliment. Well, guys, we have a very nice activity to do today. I hope you are excited because I am. I was the whole day waiting for this class to arrive because I was very anxious about talking about this important topic, which is the past in Portuguese. I know this is tricky for some of you, so it's awesome to have the opportunity to explain this to you and to show you this is not so tricky as you may think, right? So, Nino is saying I'm from Brazil, so very nice. Bem-vindo! Manish is saying, hey Manish, tudo bom? He's saying Chapaquá. I'm probably not pronouncing the right way, but in Portuguese we would say something like this. Chapaquá. Probably it's an indigenous name, right? You can confirm maybe. So Pink Pearl is saying, I want to become fluent. I want to learn for fun and my family. I recently entertained the thought of being a translator for comics. I'm a girl. Okay, so you're a girl. So cool. Guys, learning a language is something amazing. I've been through this before. I've learned English, I've learned French, also studied a little bit of Spanish and Italian, and I know how this is incredible. It's a new world, right? And it's awesome for our brains, for learning not only a new language, but also a new culture, right? Because when we start to learn a new language, actually we are learning a whole new culture. To understand better a language, it's important to also understand this culture. And that's why we here in the Yes Portuguese course, we believe in not only teach the language, but also the aspects of our culture. So we love to talk about music, food, TV shows, wherever that can help you to really understand this new culture, right? So let me see the other messages. So Alfred is saying, eu sou do Texas. So hi, oi. Oh, Nino, muito obrigada pelo elogio. Thank you very much for your compliment. Jeannie, hey Jean. So Jeannie saying, eu sou do norte de Carolina. Boa noite, Jeannie. So bem-vinda. Norte da Carolina do Norte, maybe. Saif, boa noite. I'm very glad to see you all here, guys. I'm pretty excited. You know that here in Brazil it's already 10 p.m., so it's not so early. So it's amazing to see you all here. This cheer me up very much, very much. So I guess we have done our introductions, right? So I would like to remember you that now we are about to start a class. This is a class. Of course, we try to do it very in a laid-back way, but it's a class in the end. So I'm saying this because it's nice for you to have some space to really understand what I'm about to say, what I'm about to explain to you. So try to be in a quiet place, concentrate. If you have already the material we sent you early this morning, you can use it right now. I think it's awesome to be able to use it because you can follow what I will explain and even take your own notes, right? So go ahead, use it. What else? Don't forget to also take pictures of this class and share with other people so they can know where to find sources to study Portuguese. We know it's not easy to find it on the internet, and even more in your city. We know that's tricky, that's hard to find good content, good teachers. So if you share with more people, they will be able to know where to find some resources, right? Just reading some other messages. Kevin, olá Kevin, tudo bom? So you can use the hashtag YepperSquad. So this is a very good hashtag created by you guys. It's awesome. We love it. So you can use the hashtag Yepper or YepperSquad, right? Actually, I can show you. So I'm gonna share with you my screen so you will be able to see my whiteboard, right? So the hashtag is Yepper, or you can use it YepperSquad. And just for you who are here for the first time maybe and you don't know what Yepper means, I can tell you. Yepper is a lucky person who's already a Yes Portuguese student and is already in the way to achieve their dreams of speaking Portuguese, right? So you can use it so we can find you and post it for more people to know you too. And it's great to have this community here, guys. It's awesome for you to have each other, to practice Portuguese with each other. And I can see that our community is growing and getting stronger. And for you guys, this is awesome because you can practice more Portuguese, exchange some tips, and help each other, right? So that's why we decided to make this community, because otherwise you would just learn Portuguese alone by yourself. But with this community, it's possible to be surrounded by people who are in the same path as you, right? So I think it's much better when we can count on someone else than just us, right? Of course, if you prefer, you can learn by yourself and you don't need to have contact with other people. But if you prefer like this, we can provide you that, right? I'm telling you because for the Yeppers, for the people who are already students from Yes Portuguese, they can count with the Facebook secret community only for students, and also they can count on the WhatsApp group exclusive for Yeppers, right? Well, let me see if there's something else in the comment section. Kevin is saying I changed my hair color. Actually, no, but I cut it, so I think it's, I don't know, it seems to be different. I agree, but I didn't change actually. I think it's the haircut. So Jean is saying the city. I guess she's from Greensboro, right? Uh, mm, Odd squad. Okay. Uh, so Pink Pearl is saying it had a small summary and vocabulary words and sentences to study. Uh, oh, I didn't see your message before. So you said. Uh, Okay, so Pink Pearl is saying that she likes the emails we send with the study content, right? Yes, guys, it's awesome to be part of our list because we send emails with the content from our classes and also with every link about everything we post. So if you miss something, you can find it through our mail. So if you are not yet subscribed to our list, you can find us in the links we provide on Instagram, and I'm not sure if we provide it here, but you can send us your mail if you really want to be part of it, so you can receive all this content, okay? So let's go, right? Let's go. So guys, if you are already part of the WhatsApp group, not the one only for the Yappers, but the WhatsApp group we provide for everyone who wants to study Portuguese, you got this material I'm showing you right now. So this is the study material. It's a free content we provide for the Tuesday's class, so you can follow the class. So now we can really start. So our focus today, guys, is to finally understand how the past works in Portuguese. But maybe you will think, why I put in this title verbs in AR, right? Or as we say in Portuguese, verbs in AR. Well, I could explain the past for you guys in this moment right now, and I could explain, show you lots of content, but maybe you wouldn't memorize all of the things I'm about to show you, because if I decided to put all together, this would be a little bit confusing, right? That's why I decided to teach you today only the past for the verbs in ar. Why that? Because as I just told you, it's a lot of information. And if we understand how each conjugation of verbs works, it will be easier because then you will be able to see the patterns in each conjugation and memorize all of them. If we saw everything together, it wouldn't be easy for you to really see the patterns and memorize all of them just with one class in 1 hour. Wouldn't be nice. So that's why I decided to see each conjugation at a time. So in another class, we can study the past, but with the verbs in ER, or as we say, er, and in another one, we can see the conjugation for the past with verbs in IR, ir. So this way, I'll show you that actually there's a rule and specific rules and termination endings to put in a verb. And once you understand how it works with this group of verbs, it will be easier, because then you'll know that you can do it with all the verbs that has the same pattern, okay? So that's our intention, to start understanding the past in Portuguese, and we'll start with the verbs in ar. So, to have this even more clear, for those of you who are really beginners, it's important to know that the Portuguese language divides the verbs in 3 conjugations. So we have the first conjugation, we say, I'll put in Portuguese so you can already be familiarized with these words, okay? These expressions. So we have primeira conjugação, first conjugation, segunda conjugação, second conjugation, and terceira conjugação, third conjugation, okay? So this is a way to group verbs that have similarities, okay? So the verbs that belong to the first conjugation are the ones that end with AR when they are in the infinitive form, okay? The ones that belong to the second conjugation are the ones that end with ER when they are in the infinitive form. And the ones from the third conjugation are the ones that end with IR in the third conjugation in the infinitive form, okay? So I'm talking about, for example, in this case of the third conjugation, verbs like dormir, to sleep. In the second conjugation, I'm talking about verbs like comer, to eat, right? And here in the first conjugation, I'm talking about verbs like amar, to love, right? So this is important because now, if you have never heard about it, you can understand why we are discussing only this first one. Because then we can learn the rules that will apply to all the verbs that have this similarity to end with AR in the infinitive form, which means that this verb belongs to the first conjugation, okay? So, are you cool? If you have any question, you use the chat and ask me, okay? Let me see if there's something. I think there's no question for now, but go ahead. If you do have any questions, you use the comment section, okay? So, as the rules change according to each conjugation, and by change I mean that the endings, for example, will change. So the first conjugation will use some endings, the second conjugation will use another group of endings, and so on, okay? So because of this, we are studying only the first one, because then we have one rule to understand how it applies to this conjugation, this group of verbs, okay? So that's why this is our topic today. So let's go, guys. The first important thing to understand about the past is that actually today we are studying this past over here, called in Portuguese pretérito perfeito, okay? We have in the indicative mode 3 kinds of past. We have pretérito perfeito, pretérito imperfeito e pretérito mais que perfeito, okay? So forget about the others. Our focus today is this one. So it can be translated to English to the simple past, okay? So as you're going to see, when we put a verb in the pretérito perfeito, we can translate it to the simple past in English. So if I say, for example, I spoke to him yesterday, then I would have some sentence in the pretérito perfeito in Portuguese, which would be eu falei com ele ontem, right? Eu falei com ele ontem, okay? So this is the verb tense we're talking about. So we're talking about a sentence that will relate to actions that have taken place in the past. So they have already happened and they are completed. It's an action that is already completed, is finished, okay? This is important because the other verb tense we are going to learn in another class, the pretérito imperfeito, is different right because of this, because it refers to actions that are not completed, okay? But this is a topic for another class. I just want you to understand that we are talking about actions that have already happened and are already done, okay? So, as I told you, we are focused today in this verb tense, pretérito perfeito, but specifically about the verbs that end in AR, or as we say, in ar. So, we are talking about verbs like in this list over here, okay? Like sonhar, falar, conversar, voltar, chegar, ficar. By the way, do you know all of these verbs? So, sonhar is to dream. Falar, to talk. Conversar, also to talk. The difference is that falar is also translated as to speak, okay? And conversar is more about talking with someone else. Voltar, return or come back. Chegar, to arrive. And ficar, to stay, okay? So in common, you can see that all of these verbs, which are, by the way, in the infinitive form, okay, the form we find in the dictionaries, right? All of these verbs, they end in AR. All of them end with ar. Sonhar, falar, conversar, voltar, chegar, ficar. So it means they all belong to the first conjugation because they all have a similar behavior, okay? So they will follow the same rule to be put in the past, okay? Right? So yeah, Pink Pearl knew that falar is to speak, right? So right now, before we really understand how the past works for the verbs from the first conjugation, we are going to watch a small part of an interview with the top model Gisele Bundchen. You know her, right? I believe so, because I know that she's famous internationally, especially in the US. So we are going to watch a part of an interview made with her here in Brazil with the Brazilian host. And by the way, the channel we are going to watch is available on the YouTube, so you can search for it if you are interested in more interviews like this to practice your oral comprehension. And our goal is to pay attention to what they are discussing and just try to understand the most you can. Of course, you guys are from different levels, so some of you will understand more, some less. But anyway, just try to understand and maybe check if some of these verbs will appear in their conversation, okay? So, are you ready? Let's start.
Em que momento que você entendeu e quis usar a tua imagem e o teu poder de influência para alertar todo mundo sobre o meio ambiente, sobre o que estava acontecendo com o mundo? Em que momento que caiu sua ficha e falou, eu preciso fazer alguma coisa, você é Gisele, né? Se eu fizer, muita gente vai ver.
Eu acho que quando eu fui pro Xingu em 2004, eu sempre tive muita curiosidade, porque eu sou gaúcha e eu sempre sonhei com a Amazônia. Eu sempre imaginava a Amazônia uma coisa assim, destrutível, a maior floresta do mundo, meio que uma coisa avatar, assim, eu imaginava. Eu queria muito conhecer desde que eu era pequenininha. E eu tive a oportunidade em 2004 de conhecer, e quando eu cheguei lá, foi assim, triste pra mim, sabe? Porque eu vi que o que eu sonhava, o que eu imaginava não era o que estava realmente acontecendo, tinha muitas coisas acontecendo ali que eu queria poder dar uma voz, eu queria poder falar pela floresta. A natureza cuida da gente, o mínimo que a gente pode fazer é cuidar dela também, né? A nossa vida depende.
Sim, a gente faz parte disso, nós
somos
a
natureza, né? E todo o nosso sustento, nosso alimento, nossa água, nosso ar, nossa casa, tudo é a natureza. Então se a gente destrói o organismo que faz com que a gente consiga estar vivo, eu não acho isso uma coisa... Como assim, sabe? Isso não faz sentido. A partir daí, desse momento, dessa viagem, que eu percebi que era muito mais frágil do que eu imaginava. Que essa grande floresta não era essa... Que sim, ela tinha essa energia, ela tinha, mas ela estava fragilizada e eu tinha que fazer alguma coisa pra...
Você precisava dar voz a
Eu
isso.
precisava cuidar. Então, em 2004 foi quando começou. Daí, o primeiro projeto que eu fiz foi trabalhar com a Grandene, que eu trabalhava na época, eu tinha chinelinhos com eles. Eu conversei com eles, a gente voltou no Xingu em 2006, fez um comercial e a porcentagem das rendas foram pro projeto Icatu Xingu, e depois começou, a gente ficou anos dando para vários projetos ambientais. E esse livro também, afinal, 100% das minhas vendas internacionais no Brasil em vinho, todo 100% das vendas desse livro tá indo pro projeto Alga Limpa, que é um projeto para regenerar as florestas, para proteger a água do Jacuí, que é o maior rio do Rio Grande do Sul. Tudo que eu faço na minha vida, tudo, hoje em dia, é sempre como que eu posso fazer isso e como que eu posso ou usar uma forma de trazer uma informação a mais sobre o que eu acredito, ou como eu posso cuidar do nosso planeta.
Nossa, parabéns.
Well done, guys. Well, I can see that some of you know her, right? And Charles answered, yes, she's married to Tom Brady, the big star of American football, as we say in Brazil. Yes, that's it, guys. By the way, just for you understand, she is from southern Brazil, from the state of Rio Grande do Sul. So we call people from there gaúchos. Gaúchos, let me write for you guys. So someone who comes from Rio Grande do Sul is called gaúcho, or gaúcha if it's a woman, okay? So she's from there, and the host is a Brazilian actress, and I think she's from São Paulo, the state of São Paulo, because of her accent, okay? Just for you to know. Well, let's continue. So, could you understand some of the words that they said? Could you understand some of the content? If you understand something or some of the words, you can just type on the chat. We'll check later, okay? But specifically, I had asked you to try to catch these words. Maybe it was difficult because, of course, it's fast. But anyway, one important thing is that, yes, these words were in the dialogue, and they used in the past form. This form we are learning today. They used in the pretérito perfeito. And all of them, as we saw, are from the first conjugation. So let's understand how these work, guys. So, to put a verb in the past, called pretérito perfeito in Portuguese, you need to follow this, okay? This specific rule. So you have the radical of the verb plus the ending. So you are going to ask me, what the fuck is radical? Sorry, but let's understand right now. Let me find more space in here. To find the radical of a verb, you will do as it follows. For example, if I have the verb amar, you already know that this AR is the mark that shows that this verb belongs to the first conjugation, right? So we just take this off and then we have the radical. So for example, we saw the verb sonhar, right, in that list of ours. So we had sonhar, falar, for example. So, falar, conversar, right? So we will do the same. We just take off the ar in the end of the word, like this, and then we have the radical. Falar will do the same. Okay, I don't know what happened. So we just take off AR, then we have the radical. Conversar, again, we just take off AR and then we have the radical. So to find the radical of the verb, you just take the two last letters off, okay? So these typical letters that mark the conjugation which the verb belongs to, we just take these two letters off and then what it remains is the radical of the verb. Got it? So, yes, Nino is just separating the verbs from these last two letters and finding the radical. So, this radical, guys, is the essence of a verb, the main important thing that probably won't change through the verb tenses when we are talking about regular verbs, right? So you found the radical, then you just add to these radicals the endings. And what are the endings? Ta-da! These are the endings we have for the verbs in the first conjugation. So this first one, A, is the one we use for eu, first person singular, I. The second one, O, is the one we use for second and third conjugation when we are using você, you, ele, he, ela, she, or a gente, that means we. Amos is the termination for the first person plural we use for nós, we, and Aaron is the ending we use for second and third plural when we use vocês, you, plural version, eles e elas, they, okay? So, if I want to put, just let me copy these for our whiteboard. So we saw how to find the radical, right? Was just take off the R. And we saw that to put this verb into the past, I just add the terminations, right? Let me emphasize this. Yay! So I just use these terminations according to the person I want, right? Just let me do this because it will be easier for us. So, we have these terminations for each person. So for example, imagine I want to say eu, let me put in here, I love. Sorry, in the past, I loved. Okay? So, eu, radical of the verb. The verb is to love, amar. Radical, just am, without ar. First person, the termination, the ending is a. So, I just add a. Eu amei. Okay? Second case, imagine I want to say you dreamed. Você sonhou. So, você, then the verb to dream is sonhar, right? Just the radical, we take off AR. Then the ending for você is ou. So I just add ou. Você sonhou. Okay? Getting it, guys? Getting it? Guys, don't concentrate in these conversations in the chat so you will lost here, okay? So try to focus here too. I'm like the teacher who calls the attention of the students and say, don't chat during the class. Anyway, Let's do this other two so you can get it. So imagine I will say, we talked, okay? In the past. So we, nós, okay? We could use a gente, but we'll use nós in here. Talked. So the verb to talk is falar. We just want the radical, so we take off AR. And the ending for nós is amos. So nós falamos. We talked. And finally, guys, if I want to say they talked, eles, they is eles, right? Eles. Talk can also be conversar, conversar, but we just want the radical, so we take off ar, and the ending for eles is aram, so I just add this termination. Eles conversaram. Guys, did you understand how it works? I would love to get some feedbacks from you if you got it. A good question. John Jocks is asking, você recomenda primeiro aprender os regulares ou irregulares? So his or her, I think it's his, he's asking if I recommend to learn first the regular or the irregular ones. I would say the regular ones, although the irregular don't depend on the regulars, you know, they are independent because they work in a different way. And as you use the irregular ones a lot, you can do in a simultaneous way, you know, like you learn how the regular ones work and at the same time learn one irregular verb like the verb to be in Portuguese, ser and estar. Then you learn the second conjugation in the past and you learn more verbs, you know, because as they don't work the same way, you can learn them all at the same time, right? I would just recommend you to separate the learning of each conjugation. This is important because otherwise you can mix the terminations, the endings, because they will change, okay? So let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, I'm glad with the feedbacks. So Chantel is saying, brilliant class and explanation. Thank you. I'm really glad to see these guys because it means that it's clear for you. And that's our goal here, to make it simple. You know, I'm very rational when I learn a new language. And when I used to learn French, for example, which is also a new Latin language, which also have all these conjugation endings, conjugations, different conjugations between verbs. So I had to do these schemas, you know, in my mind to learn how to put verbs together that behavior the same way. So I'm just doing the same process I used to do with myself to help you. And I think this works, guys. Of course, you have to do some practice to really got it, but this is the way it will help you. So Pink Pearl is asking, it's the immediate past tense, right? Yes. As I told you, is the verb tense equivalent to the simple past in English, okay? So Charles is asking, does I may imply a no longer love? This is a good question, Charles. Charles, just repeating for you, he's asking, does I may, the verb to love in the past, imply I no longer love? No. It's interesting, guys, because in English, if you like something and you want to emphasize, you will say, I love this, right? In the present form. But in Portuguese, we use the past. We say, if you show me something, imagine I don't know, you prepare some dish, some plate for me, something, and I just eat it and I love this, and then I will say in Portuguese, ai, amei, que delícia. So we say it in the past. It's just a typical use of this expression in Portuguese, but it doesn't mean we no longer love it. Okay? This is a very nice question. It's just an important thing to notice in the way we use the language. Okay? So when in English you say just I like it or I love it, we in Portuguese normally say eu gostei, eu amei. We just put the verb in the past even though we are talking about something in the moment. But just because it's something we already analyzed, we used in the past, okay? But it's still true, okay? John Jonks is saying that he speaks Spanish, and the challenge is to separate Portuguese from Spanish. It is indeed, guys. If you know a Latin language, you have to work on that to not mixing these two languages, and especially Spanish because it's very close to Portuguese, right? So guys, let's come back to our material. If you have the material, you can see that I put the whole conjugation in the past for all of these verbs. I asked you to pay attention in the interview with the top model. So here you can see, for example, the whole conjugation with the verb sonhar. So we have sonhei, sonhou, sonhamos, sonharam. And here, guys, you can see that sonhei, as I had told you, is the termination for eu, first person. Ou is the termination for você, ele, ela, a gente. Sonhamos is the one we use for nós, and sonharam the one we use for vocês, eles, elas, right? So as you can see, the terminations will repeat here. So for the first person singular, eu, will also have the termination, the ending a. For the other people, você, ele, ela, a gente, we also have o. Then for nós, we also have amos. For vocês, eles, elas, aram. What I'm trying to show you here is that there's a pattern, and this is great for us because this means that we don't have to memorize 1,000 new things. We just have to understand how to put a verb from this conjugation in the past. And you already know the rule. You pick the radical, infinitive without ar, and you add these endings. And you will see as they repeat a lot that you will easily memorize them. I recommend you to start making sentences in the past with these verbs we just learned today. Not only these ones we learned today, but all of the ones from the first conjugation. Practice this past, so you will start to see these patterns repeating, and you will end up memorizing the terminations because they will appear repeatedly, okay? So just for you to show, to see the whole conjugation for conversar, for voltar, then you can see the same happening. Eu conversei, você conversou, nós conversamos, vocês conversaram. Here, again, eu voltei, você voltou, nós voltamos, vocês voltaram. So even read this conjugation out loud, one after the other, will help you to memorize, because some people are more likely to memorize things they see, so they are very visual. Some people will more likely to memorize things they hear, they listen, right? So if you are a listening person, you can speak this conversation, you can say this conjugation, out loud, because the sound will be fixed in your mind. So imagine you repeating this. Eu conversei, você conversou. Nós conversamos, vocês conversaram. Eu voltei, você voltou. Nós voltamos, vocês voltaram. Eu cheguei, você chegou. Nós chegamos, vocês chegaram. You know, there's a rhythm, a rhyme, even. So this will stuck in your mind. So if you are a person who tends to memorize things you listen, read this out loud. This will help you to memorize the sound. Even if you forget the ending, how to write it, you will remember how to say it. Okay? But if you are a more visual person, write them. So make sentences. Write these terminations. Use this rule and try to apply with other verbs for the first conjugation to check if you really got how to do it. Okay? So these are practice you can do by yourself, and that will help you to improve your skills. I just want to show you, before we watch the interview once again, that for the verb chegar, we just have this. Can you see this U underlined? Because the radical of the verb chegar, if we take off the AR, is just cheg, ending with G, right? So and the ending is just a. So this U in here is put in this position because of sound, okay? Sometimes this will happen. You just have to pay attention. It doesn't mean that this verb is irregular. It's just an accommodation for the sound because in Portuguese we couldn't have G followed by E with this sound of gay. To have this sound gay, 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 we need to put U after G, okay? So it's just an accommodation for this sound. So it still follows the rule, but we have this accommodation. Sometimes we have this with some verbs. Also, with the verb ficar, we have this because if we look to the infinitive form to find the radical, we just take off AR, and then we have fic, ending with C, right? But the same happens here. We couldn't have the sound K, fi, K, right? We couldn't have this sound in the end with C followed by E. For this sound of K, we need to have K followed by U. So then we have K, fi, K. Okay? So sometimes we have this accommodation. You will also incorporate them with time, and you will see that every verb that ends with C, if it will be followed by E, then you have to move, to change, and with time you will incorporate. But the main situations are these ones without any changes, okay? So guys, just for you to compare, here I put all of these verbs we saw today and the terminations. Then you can see that actually we only have to memorize these 4 terminations. We don't have a different termination for each verb. It's the same for all the verbs from this conjugation. And it will change according to the person. Okay? So this way, maybe it's easier for you to memorize. And looking at this beautiful material made by our support guy called Otávio, also known as Adriele's husband, It's an amazing material, guys, and these colors, they really help you to memorize this termination. So if you didn't belong to our WhatsApp group yet, go there as soon as possible, because then you can get this material, and I really recommend you to print or to have in your computer so you can see this. I'm very visual. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very visual. I need to see things related to help me to memorize, you know? So this helps a lot. So, was that difficult? Tell me. What do you think, guys? Was it easy? Of course, you have to take time to really observe everything, but the rule is not that difficult, right? We only have this radical, which is very easy to find, and these 4 endings to put according to each person. Okay? So, was it good? Are you ready to do our last activity? Tell me. So, while I wait for you to answer me, are you okay with the explanation, everything? I now want you to pay attention to the interview, the part of the interview we will rewatch, and try to notice these verbs that they will say. They will pronounce them in the past. Okay? So try to get. Maybe it will be tricky because of the speed of their talk, but try to get these verbs, so they will use these verbs that we studied today in the past. Okay? So just checking your comments. Chantel is saying it's definitely easier after that perfect explanation. Oh, thank you very much. It's very nice of you. Before this class, I have sometimes struggle with tenses. So great. Charles is saying very good. So I'm very glad to know that, guys. So are you ready? Let's check. So I will let the verbs in here just below the video so you can check which are the verbs, and you can listen, watch it, and try to get, okay? So let's go. Jeannie, thank you. Perfeita explicação. Thank you. So here we go. Final activity.
Em que momento que você entendeu e quis usar a tua imagem e o teu poder de influência para alertar todo mundo sobre o meio ambiente, sobre o que estava acontecendo com o mundo? Em que momento que caiu sua ficha e você falou, eu preciso fazer alguma coisa, você é a Gisele, né? Se eu fizer, muita gente vai ver.
Eu acho que quando eu fui pro Xingu em 2004, eu sempre tive muita curiosidade, porque eu sou gaúcha e eu sempre sonhei com a Amazônia. Eu sempre imaginava a Amazônia uma coisa assim, destrutível, a maior floresta do mundo, meio que uma coisa avatar, assim, eu imaginava. Eu queria muito conhecer, desde que eu era pequenininha. E eu tive a oportunidade em 2004 de conhecer, e quando eu cheguei lá, foi assim, triste pra mim, sabe? Porque eu vi que o que eu sonhava, o que eu imaginava não era o que estava realmente acontecendo, tinha muitas coisas acontecendo ali que eu queria poder dar uma voz, eu queria poder falar pela floresta. A natureza cuida da gente, o mínimo que a gente pode fazer é cuidar dela também, né? A nossa vida depende.
Sim, a gente faz parte disso, nós
somos
a
natureza, né? E todo o nosso sustento, nosso alimento, nossa água, nosso ar, nossa casa, tudo é a natureza. Então se a gente destrói o organismo que faz com que a gente consiga estar vivo, eu não acho isso uma coisa... Como assim, sabe? Isso não faz sentido. A partir daí, desse momento, dessa viagem, que eu percebi que era muito mais frágil do que eu imaginava. Que essa grande floresta não era essa... Que sim, ela tinha essa energia, mas ela estava fragilizada e eu tinha que fazer alguma coisa pra...
Você precisava dar voz a isso.
Eu precisava cuidar. Então, em 2004 foi quando começou. Daí, o primeiro projeto que eu fiz foi trabalhar com a Grandene, que eu trabalhava na época, eu tinha chinelinhos com eles. Eu conversei comecei com eles, a gente voltou no Xingu em 2006, fez um comercial e a porcentagem das rendas foram pro projeto Icatu Xingu, e depois começou, a gente ficou anos dando para vários projetos ambientais. E esse livro também, afinal, 100% das minhas vendas internacional no Brasil em vinho, todo 100% das vendas desse livro tá indo pro projeto Água Limpa, que é um projeto para regenerar as florestas, para proteger a água do Jacuí, que é o maior rio do Rio Grande do Sul. Tudo que eu faço na minha vida, tudo, hoje em dia, é sempre como que eu posso fazer isso e como que eu posso ou usar uma forma de trazer uma informação a mais sobre o que eu acredito, ou como eu posso cuidar do nosso planeta.
Nossa, parabéns.
Very well. So guys, if you have the material, you can check the transcriptions now. I didn't allow it before, otherwise it would be so easy. But in the transcriptions we can follow what they discussed. But just before we look at it, could you understand some of the content of their dialogue? If you did understand something, the topic they discussed, or some comments they did, you can just tap in the chat, okay? And if you got the verbs, we can just check them right now. So Pink Pearl is saying is very fast, é muito rápido. Yes, it is. This is a practice, okay, guys? In the beginning, of course, it's harder, but the more you hear, the more you listen, the more it will be easier for you, okay? So we start with the host, which is this one in the left. She's saying, em que momento que você entendeu e quis usar a tua imagem e o teu poder de influência para alertar todo mundo sobre o meio ambiente, sobre o que estava acontecendo com o mundo? Em que momento que caiu a sua ficha e você falou, eu preciso fazer alguma coisa? Você é a Gisele, né? Se eu fizer, muita gente vai ver. In this part here, Jeannie has already got it. Yeah, we have the first verb in the past here. There are other verbs in the past, but not from the first conjugation. Not verbs in ar, like amar, sonhar. But this one, it's a verb in the first conjugation in the past. Falou. So, you said. This is the translation for this part. Right? Okay, so then Gisele says, in this part over here. Eu acho que quando eu fui para o Xingu em 2004, eu sempre tive muita curiosidade, porque eu sou gaúcha, eu sempre sonhei com a Amazônia. Eu sempre imaginava a Amazônia uma coisa assim indestrutível, a maior floresta do mundo, meio que uma coisa avatar assim, eu imaginava. E eu queria muito conhecer, desde que eu era pequenininha. Eu tive uma oportunidade em 2004 de ir conhecer. E quando eu cheguei lá, foi assim triste para mim, sabe? Porque eu vi que o que eu sonhava, o que eu imaginava, não era o que realmente estava acontecendo. Tinha muitas coisas acontecendo ali e eu queria poder dar uma voz, eu queria poder falar pela floresta. A natureza cuida da gente. O mínimo que a gente pode fazer é cuidar dela também, né? A nossa vida depende. So, in this part, Charles, very good. You got it. So, he found this verb here from the first conjugation in the pretérito perfeito, the verb sonhar. So, she said here, eu sempre sonhei. So, it means I've always dreamed. Okay? Yes, this is dream. And there's another verb in this part here, guys. So, in this line we just read about what Gisele said, there's another verb. The first one is this one Charles just found, sonhei, but there's another one. Can you find it? Oh, Jean got it. Cheguei. Very good, Jean. Cheguei. So she said, quando eu cheguei lá, when I arrived there in the Amazon forest, okay? So this is it. right? Cheguei. This is the verb chegar, to arrive. So it's also in the past. Congratulations, Chantel. That's it. Sonhava is from the first conjugation, but it's not in the pretérito perfeito. It's another verb tense from the past. It's pretérito imperfeito, unperfect past, okay? So it's a topic for another class, but it's also the verb to dream, sonhar. So there are some verbs here from the first conjugation, but not in the pretérito perfeito, okay? It's the case of sonhava, imaginava. This is the verb imaginar, to imagine, also from the first conjugation, but not in the pretérito perfeito, okay? So the two we have here are sonhei, cheguei, okay? So I'll help you out. The other part, let me see, just here, in the final, in the end, she says, eu conversei com eles, a gente voltou no Xingu em 2006, fez um comercial, e toda a porcentagem das rendas foram para o projeto Icatu Xingu. E depois a gente ficou anos dando para vários projetos ambientais. E esse livro também, afinal, 100% das minhas vendas internacionais no Brasil, enfim, 100% das vendas desse livro está indo para o projeto Água Limpa, que é um projeto para regenerar as florestas, para proteger a água do Jacuí, que é o maior rio do Rio Grande do Sul. Tudo que eu faço na minha vida, tudo hoje em dia, é sempre como que eu posso fazer isso e como que eu posso ou usar uma forma de trazer uma informação a mais sobre o que eu acredito ou como eu posso cuidar do nosso planeta. Muito bem! Very good, guys! Conversei is the first one. Eu conversei, pretérito perfeito, verb from first conjugation. Eu conversei, voltou, very good! Voltou. Here, also, a gente voltou. So here we have, eu conversei com eles, I talked to them. And here, a gente voltou. We came back to Xingu. And there's another one, guys, close to these two ones. So, conversei, voltou, and where's the other one? Search for the endings. Where's the other one? Eu conversei com eles, a gente voltou no Xingu, fez um... very well, guys! You found it! That's it! Depois a gente ficou. We stayed. Ok? Ficou. So, these were the verbs we studied today, which were from the first conjugation, and they were here in the pretérito perfeito. Ok? As I told you, there are other verbs in the past, but that are not from the first conjugation, and there are other verbs from the first conjugation which are not in the pretérito perfeito. But these ones are the ones from the first conjugation in the pretérito perfeito. So congratulations, you did found them. Guys, I won't translate a line by line because I think it would be a little bit boring, but just for you to know, if you need later, I can send to you the transcriptions with translations if you want to. But this part of the interview is just with the host asking Gisele when she started to think about these things related to environment and when she decided to defend this cause. And then Gisele starts to answer her, saying that she started to think about these topics when she first went to Xingu which is an indigenous community here in Brazil. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's in the Amazon. So she went there in 2004, and she imagined that the Amazon was something very strong, indestructible. But when she arrived there, she saw that actually the Amazon was fragile and it was suffering. So she decided to do something more to take care of this forest. And then she made some, she had an agreement, a partnership with this brand called Grendene, and they designed these sandals, and all the profits from the sandals went to this project she mentioned, Icatu Xingu, this one here. And then now she just released, we don't say released, I forgot the verb, sorry guys, but she just wrote a book, and all the profits coming from this book will go to also another project called Água Limpa, so clean water, which is a project to protect the waters from Jacuí, which is the biggest river in Rio Grande do Sul, her original state. And she ends this part saying that everything she does now is to try to provide more information about what she believes, which is to take care of our planet. Okay? Whoa! I didn't translate line by line, but it was big, guys. So let me see if you have any more comments, because this is it, guys. We end up our class. I hope you have liked it. And if you did, please give us a like and share with more people about this class, guys. As I told you in the beginner, it's nice to show to more people, because then they can learn where to find content to learn Portuguese, right? Published. That's it. Thank you. It's the same verb in Portuguese. I really forgot it, because we say publicar. It's the same. Thank you, Charles. Well, thank you very much, guys, for being here. It was really amazing. It's awesome to have you here to interact. To teach without students, it's pointless. So it's amazing to have you here. Thank you very much. It was awesome. I hope you have learned. I hope this material, this class, help you to understand the past, this specific past in Portuguese, and start to practice. This is the way you will learn. You have to understand the rules, to see it in a clear way, but also you need to practice, okay? So go ahead, use the past whenever you can, okay? So Chantal is saying, I really enjoyed this class. Thank you very much. I now have more confidence to speak in the past tense. Oh, that's really great. I'm really glad about it, guys. Muito obrigada. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, guys, for being here. It was very nice. Jean, boa noite. Doces sonhos a todos. Boa noite, Jean. So, guys, have an amazing night. Boa noite para todo mundo. Bons sonhos, bom descanso. And don't forget that next Thursday we have a live class at 2 p.m. on Instagram. So go there. I'll teach you some nice vocabulary about some tools we use in the kitchen. It will be a very funny class. I'll be in my kitchen showing you these tools and the names in Portuguese. It will be a funny class. I'll be waiting for you there, okay? So thank you very much and see you soon. Tchau, tchau.